Ito ang mainit na balita at trending ngayon sa mundo ng social media. Matapos uminit ang ulo ng mga congressman, abay isang abogado binunyag kung bakit untouchable si Speaker Martin at Congressman Lady in Red na atasan. Ano nga bang dahilan? Well, let's find out. Matapos ipakulong si Ka Eric at Dr. Badoy ng mga congressman, ay hindi pa din dito natatapos ang lahat. Dahil ang talagang pakay nila ay imbestigahan ang prangkisa ng SMNI. Ayon kay Congressman Benny Abante, biktima din umano siya sa mga pahayag ni Dr. Badoy.
I was also a victim of the fake news. I think that Madam Badoy knows about that. Palagay ko naalala mo pa yan, Madam Badoy, because wala pang isang taon yan. If there's any congressman here who is with the majority, who is the victim of your fake news, it's Benny Abante, a good friend and not roommate of Atty. Suplico.
Matatandaan na isa si Congressman Benny Abante na nagpasa ng resolusyon na pabor para papasukin ang ICC para imbestigahan ang War on Drugs campaign ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Ayon sa isang kilalang abogado, malinaw umano na ang lahat ng ito ay pamumulitika at malinaw umano ang mensahe ni Speaker Martin na batikusin na lahat kahit si President Marcos at BP Sara, wag lang ang speaker dahil ipapatawag ka talaga sa kamera.
The House of Representatives wants to send a message to all media practitioners. Pulaan nyo na ang lahat, wag lang si Speaker Romualdez. Pulaan nyo na ang Presidente, ang Vice Presidente, kahit sinong cabinet member, kahit sinong nasa gobyerno, wag lang ang Speaker, kundi kayo ipatatawag, gagamitin ng House of Representatives ang lahat ng kapangyarihan niya upang kayo ay dalhin doon, ipahiya, ibuli, takutin. Yun ang ng mensahe niyan.
Nagbigay pahayag naman si dating Senador Trillanes tungkol sa ginagawang aksyon ng Kamara.
Pagka tinitingnan natin yung aksyon ng House of Representatives, kailangan natin ilagay sa mas malawak na context. Historically, traditionally, yung House of Representatives, instrumento yan ng Presidente. Di ba ginamit yan ni Duterte nung pinersecute nila si Senator Laila de Lima, di ba? At kung ano-ano pang ginawa nila. So yan yon. Hindi ito comparable dun sa ginawa dun sa ABS-CBN kasi talagang pinilipit yung mga braso nun, hinanapan ng butas para lang mawala yung franchise kahit wala namang violation. Kung matatanggal yung prangkisa nila, dapat lang, karapat-dapat lang.
Ayon naman sa veteranong broadcaster, kung may paglabag si Ka Eric at Dr. Badoy, ay sampahan na lang sila ng kaso.
Ngayon, kung sa tingin nila mayroong paglabag doon, si Speaker nalabag yung kanyang karapatan, hindi sampahan nila ng kaso, hindi yung gagamitin nila yung Kongreso para makapag-flex ng muscles nila.
Dagdag pa ni Sonsa na atasan di umano itong si Congresswoman Nograles, Lady in Red, para bukalkalin ang prangkisa ng nasabing network.
May inside information is talagang dudurugin nila yung istasyon kasi unang-una nandyan si Duterte. Kasi ang nagbulong sa akin, talagang yan si Congresswoman Kimbo at saka yan si Congresswoman Nograles ang naatasan na panambutas yung franchise ng SMNI.
Nauna nang sinabi ng mga congressman na ginagampanan lang nila ang kanilang tungkulin at wala itong halong pamumulitika.
Administrator, Mr. Chair, so we've heard the problem. Mataas, etc., konti, ani. So what do we plan to do with this? Ang importante is the reason why we're here. That's why this hearing is called, to find a solution na magiging affordable ang bigas ngayong magpapasko, December. Magiging affordable yung mga itlog. So what do we plan to do? Do you have any solution for now? Lalo na yung sinasabi niyo ho na meron pa pala kayong natitirang budget na ilang bilyon. Hindi ba pwedeng gamitin yung pambili to ease up itong walang respite sa presyo ng bigas? Can we do something about it? That's what our people would want to hear. Ang gusto lang nila marinig sa Kongreso, sa committee na ito, bababa ang presyo ng bigas. Can we do that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor. No, ang recommendation natin sa presidente for immediate, no, we have also for the next cropping season, no, to expand production under the National Rice Program. But in the meantime, we're trying to expand supply. No, NFA buying local will not expand supply. No, it will be coming from the same pool. So palay prices have shot up to 30 pesos, as much as 30 pesos already. No, and we cannot be party to that. You know, inflation cannot be driven by government. It should be market driven. So our solution is to make that supply expand. So the function of NFA is no longer allowed. No, I mean, we're no longer allowed to import. So we can only make policy recommendation. Now, traditionally, we import from Vietnam and Thailand, and prices have gone up so high. So our recommendation to keep Vietnam and Thailand prices in check is to seek alternative supply. And since India actually banned the export of rice since July 20, non-basmati rice, but they allowed for a G2G na transactions, for humanitarian purposes. And they did allow us 295,000 metric tons of white rice to be exempted from the ban. And that is on a G2P, government to private sector arrangement. And we're encouraging the importers to avail of that so that we will be able to expand our traditional source of supply, not just from Vietnam and Thailand, but also India, which plays a big part in the supply in the world market. So the talks are already ongoing. We're going to have initial shipments from India within this month of December. But there's still some resistance, Your Honor, because of the perception that Indian rice quality is inferior and would not, of course, match Vietnam and Thailand. Yet the prices from India is still very, very high. They were hoping that prices are lower, but India imposed 20% export tariff, to keep also on their part 20% export tariff that will add another $100 in their prices, because they want also to tame their domestic prices to go below $400 ex mil because of inflation purposes, and it's a big election issue for India. So those are the things. But for now, what we're looking out, we hope to get alternative sources and expand supply. And then cost may be somehow, hopefully later on, will be tempered by the additional supply. Although we know that prices in the world market is going to be very, very tough for our consumers.
So, Mr. Chair, in short, what are you telling us na baba ang presyo ng bigas ngayon December? With the Indian import?
I think, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, together with the renewed interest to import, because we encourage the industry to play their part, because we need to import around 320,000 tons, so 300,000 tons a month to keep the supply stable. And hopefully with that, we can keep the prices stable too, as a effect. But October, November, volume went down. Also last July yata bumagsak din, to below our targets in terms of supply stability. What we can say, Your Honor, is actually we will have more supply by December. Prices is something that we hope that will go down, but considering that there is no more supply from the local market, these are all secondary trade already going into the intercity and Golden City at 30 pesos. Unfortunately, there will still be a challenge in the prices of rice for December. But what we want is stability in supply first.
All right, Mr. Chair, before I go to the Egg Board, may I call on a representative from PRISM? Tama po ba yung farm gate price? Kasi narinig po, nag-meeting po tayo dati, if you can recall, di po ba? Bago po naglabas ng price cap. Temporary lang po ito, sabi ninyo, bababa din ito. Whatever happened to that? Tama po ba itong farm gate price ngayon? Kasi ang sinisisi ng retailer, mataas daw po yung farm rate. What happened?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and to all the members of the committee. Yun pong sinabi na sa presyo ng farm gate price. After po ng ating meeting, we had a price cap. And at the time, ang presyo po ng palay noon ay, ng bigas rather, is mataas talaga. Pero sinasabi po natin na mag-harvest season na at the time, and we're expecting that magpo-progress to dahil nga po dadating na yung presyo ng mababang presyo ng palay.